Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hey, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hey, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances and worship to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you all for joining His Holiness Candramauli Swami Maharaj's daily class. Today, we are continuing the Srimad Bhagavatam series of first canto, 12th chapter, verse number 26. Today, we are having Her Grace Sridevi Mataji to give class for all of us. Hare Krishna, Mataji, my humble obeisances to you, all goes to Srila Prabhupada, and glories to Guru Maharaj. Thank you, Mataji. You can please take over. Hare Krishna. Mataji. Oh, I think Mataji is not on the call. Oh. Hare Krishna. Yeah, I think Mataji got dropped off. I'll ask. We'll play the Kirtan once again.
My mom signed up for AARP, but I didn't think I was ready yet until I started seeing benefits.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Mataji, my humble obeisances to you, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj. I just introduced the class and I saw that you were not there on the class. So that's why I was messaging you. Thank you so much.
There's a heavy thunderstorm over here and the internet suddenly goes off. Then after a few minutes, it comes back on. So if that happens, please know I'll join back again.
Sure. Yes, Mataji. Yeah, you can please take over, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Dear devotees, please accept my most humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to our Guru Parampara, and all glories to Srimad Bhagavatam, all glories to the Vaishnavas who are present and who are also not present. Hari Bol, my humble obeisances. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyayocha patita nam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. I humbly request for your merciful blessings, for your good wishes, for your kind thoughts, so that I am able to do this service today. Hare Krishna. So we are on a very interesting chapter, and this is an extremely interesting verse, especially because it's so relevant to our present times. And I am quite excited to share it with you. It's Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 12, questions by Maharaj Parikshit. And I'm sorry, birth of Emperor Parikshit, Chapter 12, and verse number 26. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye. Nasta Praeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Rajarishinam Janayitam Shasta Chotpatagaminam Nigrahita Kaleresha Bhuvo Dharmasya Karanat. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. This child will be the father of kings who will be like sages. For world peace and for the sake of religion, he will be the chastiser of the upstarts and the quarrelsome. Purport. The wisest man in the world is a devotee of the Lord. The sages are called wise men, and there are different types of wise men for different branches of knowledge. Unless, therefore, the king or the head of the state is the wisest man, he cannot control all types of wise men in the state. In the line of royal succession in the family of Maharaj Yudhishthira, all the kings without exception were the wisest men of their times. And so also it is foretold about Maharaj Parikshit and his son, Maharaj Janamajaya, who was yet to be born. Such wise kings can become chastisers of upstarts and uprooters of Kali, who was attempting to kill a cow, the emblem of peace and religion. The symptoms of Kali are wine, women, gambling, and slaughterhouses. Wise rulers of all states should take lessons from Maharaj Parikshit in how to maintain peace and morality by subduing the upstarts and quarrelsome people who indulge in wine, illicit connection with women, gambling, and meat eating, supplied by regularly maintained slaughterhouses. In this age of Kali, regular licenses issued for maintaining all of these different departments of quarrel. So, how can they expect peace and morality in the state? The state fathers, therefore, must follow the principles of becoming wiser by devotion to the Lord, by chastising the breaker of discipline, and by uprooting the symptoms of quarrel, as mentioned above. If we want blazing fire, we must use dry fuel. Blazing fire and moist fuel go ill together. Peace and morality can prosper only by the principles of Maharaj Parikshit and his followers. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadandikam. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I offer my humble obeisances to my beloved spiritual master, His Holiness Candramauli Swami, by whose mercy my eyes that were tightly shut by the darkness of ignorance have been opened by the torchlight of knowledge. Jai Gurudev, Jai Srila Prabhupada. So we are seeing over here the glorification of Maharaj Parikshit, and we have seen what wonderful qualities he is going to possess. He is just a baby. Remember, all this is taking place at his birth ceremony. The sages are glorifying this baby. He will be so righteous. He will be so brave. He will be such a skilled archer like Arjun. He will be just as good as Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because he will be following in his footsteps. He will be an upholder of dharma. He will be righteous, etc., etc. So much glorification, because this is the character of this great king, Maharaj Parikshit. He was a Raj Rishi, a saint among kings. And we can see that all in his line were very glorious. In fact, the Supreme Lord, when he comes as a king, that time his rule is called Ram Rajya. Why? Because Lord Ram was the supreme among beings in all respects. He was the ideal king. He was the ideal son, ideal father, ideal husband, ideal brother. And so his rule was marked with peace and prosperity for all. The rains were plentiful, there was plenty of grains, there were no natural calamities, people did not age. Actually, they say when Ram was ruling the earth, there was no diseases, old age, death. He took the whole of his kingdom back with him when he left this world. That's how powerful the Supreme Lord is. Ordinary people can't do such things. So the kings in those days were people of great character, great mettle, great ability, and great wisdom. Kshatriyas, very powerful warriors. They were not ordinary people. Today, what we are seeing is Shudras. Majority, 99.9%, Srila Prabhupada writes, are Shudras. So we are being ruled by the lowest class of people. What we can expect in these times now? That is why Srila Prabhupada said, I am giving society a head by making some brahmanas here, by giving you knowledge so that you can understand what is the human society supposed to be like. Unless human society is organized according to the Varnashram system, it is not even human society. We are still on an animal platform. So Srila Prabhupada came to teach us what is really wise rule. And here, glorification of such a wise ruler is being described, that he is so wise that he collects wise men in all areas. So he had a finance minister, he had a political affairs minister, he had a treasury minister, he had a minister for health and well-being of all the living entities, etc. And they were each of them very wise, very expert in their field, and that was his council of ministers. And he would be the controller. He was a Raj Rishi. So he would take their advice, would follow their advice, and he would rule according to the laws of dharma. So it was righteous rule. It was not whimsically, according to my false ego, I like you, so I'll give you a plum position in the government so that you can rip off the people, which is what is going on now. I have my cronies. I have my gang of thieves. I'm the head thief. And I have my gang of thieves, and when I come into power, I put all my cronies in positions of power so that we can all loot the public together. This is what is happening today. But in those days, it was not like that. They were actually interested in the welfare of the citizens of the state. And that included not just humans, but trees, birds, animals, livestock, everything, forests, everything was under the protection of the king. And so there was well-being for all. There was peace and prosperity for all. And everyone progressed on the path of spiritual advancement, which is the real purpose of the human form of life. But now it's simply darkness all around because man has even forgotten the value of the human form of life and is living like an animal, simply indulging in the senses. So we can see today what is the rule of so-called law. It is lawless, where the state is allowing all these things, giving them licenses, wineries, distilleries, wine shops, brothels, liquor houses, women hunting, as Srila Prabhupada would say, wine drinking, women hunting, illicit sex, all kinds of, illicit activities, gambling, meat eating, all kinds of thievery, exploitation, and all kinds of nefarious activities are going on today. And the rulers are just incapable of stopping it because they are of the same ilk. They say birds of a feather flock together. They are no better than the citizens are no better than the rulers. So how we can expect any peace or prosperity in such a condition? So if the leaders really want peace and prosperity, they have to follow the rule of law, the laws of God, which are true for all religions. The same thing holds good whether it's Christianity or Islam or Judaism or any Buddhism. The same rule of law which God tells for all humanity holds true for all generations, for all time, because these are eternal laws. They don't change with the fashion. Today, this is the rule, tomorrow another rule comes, day after tomorrow another rule comes. No, these are eternal laws. And by keeping them and by maintaining them, by upholding religion, actually man can prosper. So it is said over here, the ruler has to chastise the miscreants. He has to punish those who are doing wrong. But when they themselves are rogues and thieves and dacoits, who are themselves doing wrong, where is the question of upholding the rule of law? It's very interesting. I'm going to share with you. Let me see if I can share screen. Srimati, do you think you can allow me to screen share, please? Because I want to read this particular verse, which describes
Yes, Mataji, 1 second.
Thank you. How the rulers are not giving proper, given proper training.
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay, thank you. So this is chapter 1, canto 1, chapter 9, verse 27 of Srimad Bhagavatam. And here I want to show you how Krishna is giving us full knowledge through the Srimad Bhagavatam about what is Raj Dharma. Raj Dharma is a great science, unlike modern diplomacy for political supremacy. The kings were trained systematically to become munificent and not merely be tax collectors. They were trained to perform different sacrifices only for the prosperity of the subject. To lead the prachas to the attainment of salvation was a great duty of the king. The father, the spiritual master, and the king are not to become irresponsible in the matter of leading their subjects to the path of ultimate liberation from birth, death, diseases, and old age. When these primary duties are properly discharged, there is no need of government of the people, by the people, for the people, etc. In modern days, the people in general occupy the administration by strength of manipulated votes, but they are never trained in the primary duties of the king. And that is also not possible for everyone. Under circumstances, what happens? Untrained administrators play havoc to make the subjects happy in all respects. On the other hand, these untrained administrators gradually become rogues and thieves and increase the taxation to finance a top-heavy administration that is useless for all purposes. Actually, qualified dominars are meant to give direction to the kings for proper administration in terms of the scriptures like Manu Samhita and Dharma Shastra of Parashar. A typical king is the ideal of the people in general, and if the king is pious, religious, chivalrous, and munificent meaning generous, the citizens generally follow him. Such a king is not a lazy, sensuous person living at the cost of the subject, but is always alert to kill thieves and dacoits. The pious kings were not merciful to dacoits and thieves in the name of nonsensical ahimsa or non-violence. The thieves and dacoits were punished in an exemplary way so that in the future no one would dare commit such nuisances in an organized form. Such thieves and dacoits were never meant for administration as they are now. The taxation law was simple. There was no force and no encroachment. The king had a right to take 1/4 of the production made by the subject. He had the right to claim 1/4 of one's allotted wealth. One would never grudge parting with it because due to the pious king and religious harmony, there was enough natural wealth, namely grains, fruits, flowers, silk, cotton, milk, jewels, minerals, etc. No one was materially unhappy. The citizens were rich in agriculture and animal husbandry. Therefore, they had enough grains, fruits, and milk without any artificial need of soaps and toilets, cinemas, and bars. So this is what a real king does. The king had to see that the reserved energy of humanity was properly utilized. Human energy is meant not exactly for fulfilling animal propensities, but for self-realization. The whole government was specifically designed to fulfill this particular purpose. As such, the king had to select properly the cabinet ministers, but not on the strength of voting background. The ministers, military commanders, and even ordinary soldiers were all selected by personal qualification, and the king had to supervise them properly before they were appointed to their respective posts. That means they got training, they got education to fulfill their roles and responsibilities. The king was especially vigilant to see that tapasvis, or persons who sacrificed everything for disseminating spiritual knowledge, were never disregarded. The king knew very well that the Supreme Personality of Godhead never tolerates any insult to his unalloyed devotees. See how much even the king would honor the Brahmanas, the sages. Such tapasvis were trusted leaders even of the rogues and thieves who would never disobey the orders of tapasvis. That is why we see in the scriptures that when Narad Muni visited Kamsa, Kamsa listened to him. When Narad Muni talked to Ravan, Ravan listened to him. Why? Because they knew these are very great souls. The king would give special protection to illiterates, helpless widows of the state. Defense measures were simply to prevent attack by enemies. The taxing process was easy, and it was not meant for squandering, but for strengthening the reserve fund. So you see how clearly Srila Prabhupada is giving us what a king should do. Now, I'm going to share with you what is the present situation. In the 12th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 12:140, there is a description of these thieves and rogues in government service. These proud mlechas who are less than Shudras, representing themselves as kings, will tyrannize their subjects, and their subjects will cultivate the most vicious practices. Thus, practicing evil habits and behaving foolishly, the subjects will be like their rulers. The idea is that in the democratic days of Kali Yuga, population will fall down to the standard of Shudras. A Shudra is a fourth-class man who is only fit to work for 3 higher social classes. They are not very intelligent. And therefore, since they are so fallen, they can elect a person in their category, but a government cannot run very well when it is run by Shudras. So now I'll go to another one, and I will explain to you what is going to happen in the future. I'm highlighting this just for you to see. The citizens will be so oppressed by merciless rogues in the guise of rulers that they will give up their spouses and property and flee to the hills and forests. So the men who acquire government posts by vote are mostly Lubdai Rajanyai, greedy government men. Their business is plundering the public. And we actually see that every year the government men are exacting heavy taxes, and whatever money is received, they divide amongst themselves, while the citizens' condition remains the same or even becomes worse nowadays. gradually all the people will feel so much harassed that they will want to give up their family life, their wife, their money, and etc., and go to the forest. This we have also seen. So, welcome Kali Yuga. Here we are. But don't worry. Kale dosha nidhe rajan asti hi eko mahan gunaha. Kirtana deva krishnasya mukta sangam param vraje. Devotees of the Lord can rest assured that simply by taking shelter of Krishna, they will be fully protected against all the evils of Kali Yuga. See here it is said, the faults of this age are like an ocean. If you were put into the Pacific Ocean, you would not know how to save your life. Even if you were a very expert swimmer, it would be not possible for you to cross the Pacific Ocean. Similarly, the Kali Yuga is described as an ocean of faults, but there seems to be no way out. But there is one medicine. Kirtanad eva Krishnasya mukta sangam param vraje. The Bhagavatam explains that if you chant the name of Krishna, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, you will be relieved from the infection of this Kali Yuga. Jai. Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki Jai. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This one Hare Krishna Mahamantra, which has come down from the spiritual world, Golokera Premadhan Hari Nam Sankirtan, is the saving grace, the one redeeming feature of this age of Kali. And by taking shelter of the holy name, by taking shelter of this process of bhakti, we can become completely protected from the ill effects. It's like wearing a raincoat. In the rain, you remain dry. Even though it is pouring, you remain dry. So the devotees of the Lord are very blessed. They are very, very fortunate because they have taken shelter. And Srila Prabhupada said, you have become fortunate, now go make the unfortunate fortunate by giving them Krishna consciousness, by giving them this wonderful process by which they can become free from all the anxieties and the troubles and the tensions and the stress. You know, the people outside are suffering so much. In Manipur, for 2 months, there have been continuous fires all around the city, all around the state, because of clashes between two tribal groups. And nobody has been able to stop the fighting. The army has been called. They have stopped all internet communication. They have employed so many types of police, this thing, that. But still, they have not been able to stop the fighting, and it goes on and on and on. 2 months continuously, Manipur is on fire. Guess what is happening to ordinary people in these clashes? So many ordinary people get killed. Today's Kali Yuga, it is becoming impossible for simple ordinary people to survive. So we have a very big responsibility. Very big responsibility towards the world. Srila Prabhupada said, historians will know that this is the movement which saved the world in its darkest hour. So we may think, oh my gosh, I'm such a small little living entity. What can I do? I can't do anything. And that's okay. Yes, we are very small. We are not politically big figures or, big powerful police chieftains or army men or anything like that. But simply by being a devotee, by simply chanting your rounds, you are making a difference to the consciousness of this planet. Simply by being a bhakta or a bhaktin, you are changing the world around you. You are impacting the people around you. You are making a difference to the spiritual vibrations that form this planet. So a devotee makes a difference simply by being a devotee. And what to speak of a pure devotee? He brings Vrindavan with him or her wherever he goes. So Srila Prabhupada has come to save the world. Srila Prabhupada has come to purify the world. Srila Prabhupada has come to take us all back home, back to Godhead. As he was always saying, go back home, back to Godhead. Don't keep rotting in this material world, which is simply dukkhalayam ashashvatam. Everything is temporary. Everything is miserable. And even the rulers are dacoits and thieves. And look at the taxation. My daughter was telling me they're just increasing the taxes every year. Every year, little more, little more, little more. Finally, they'll take 75% of our earnings and give only 25% or even less. This is what is going on. You buy one thing, they put this tax, sales tax, GST tax, that tax, that tax, that tax, and you end up paying almost double at the end of the whole thing. It's tagged at, say, 100 rupees, and you end up paying 182 rupees for the thing. So ridiculous, so ridiculous. It's just highway robbery in the open. And where is all this money going? To fill the politicians' pockets, to increase their personal wealth. It is not going for the citizens' welfare. Where is the welfare activity happening? So we are in a very sad state of affairs. In fact, we are in a very dire situation, to be honest with you all. Very dire situation with nuclear, with the war going on and with power-hungry leaders who are crazy, who have no sense at all. They're deranged people, and deranged people are dangerous people because they have lost all sense. And because they have nuclear, bombs, they will use it sometime in the future. And they have made all these underground bunkers and underground cities for themselves. And they don't care what happens to the rest of the world, what happens to, the trees, the forest, the birds, the people. They don't care about the environment, what's happening to Mother Earth. They're simply having only lust and greed is driving them, and it is leading everybody to hell. So our so-called readers are clearly branded as thieves, dacoits, and rogues who cause great difficulties to the common people and who are absolutely clueless. They just say, we want peace, we want morality, we want this, we want that. But how can you have peace and morality when you're encouraging wrongdoing in the form of gambling, meat eating, intoxication, illicit sex, doing all this stuff? It's not possible. So if we really want peace and prosperity, we have to have righteous rule. We have to have rulers who are God-conscious people. Then we will see a change in society. And Prabhupada promised this. He said, you will see God-conscious leadership coming up in your lifetime. He said this to the first generation of disciples. So our hope is that sometime soon, God-conscious leadership will take over and we will see a difference to this earth planet. So thank you all very much for listening patiently. We will open up for comments, questions, criticisms, sharing, anything you like. Please forgive me. I don't want to hurt anybody by such strong words, but this is what I'm repeating from Srimad Bhagavatam, literally. So forgive me if I've hurt your sentiments. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for the class. Very nicely you explained the purport and with references. Thank you so much, Mataji. Dear devotees, any questions or comments or any realizations, you can please go ahead now. And please turn on your cameras if possible. Thank you. Tirthakirti Mataji, you want to say something?
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you for the class.
Thank you, Tirthakirti Mataji.
Thank you. There you are.
Jai Srila Prabhupada. Jai Gurudev.
Jai Srila Prabhupada. Thank you for your class.
Thank you for listening so patiently and encouraging me.
It's the most I can do. And I'm looking forward to listening again.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you,
See you.
Mataji.
Thank you.
Namrata Mataji, you have a question?
Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to our Gurudev. All glories to the wonderful Vaishnavas. So, I don't have a question though. Sorry, I was a little late. I had some guests and I was just wondering on time. I want to join, but sorry, I was a little late. I don't have a question though, but while you were telling that some of the,
Namrata?
Mataji, She got froze.
She froze.
Hare Krishna, can you
Ah.
hear?
Yeah, now we can hear you. Mataji, can you repeat again? You say.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So big heads in the society, the big industrialists and all those, it seems like they have prepared themselves from this natural calamities and, all these things. That reminds me of one such personality who tried to challenge the death, which is Michael Jackson. And, he tried that he wanted to live for 150 years, and he had all sorts of medical facilities available for him. He has the highest paying per day doctor who used to check each and everything for him. Each and every nerve was, he was aware about that. But then he ended up at 50 years in the cardiac arrest. So we do think that uh, we can challenge nature, we can challenge God by doing all such things, by creating underground facilitative societies where if things go wrong externally, you just go underground. But it's God. You can never run from him anyway. So I feel these are like unthought shortcuts. Why do people even waste their money and intelligence in all these things? So that is just my opinion. I was just sharing. Thank you for your wonderful lecture.
Very nice point, Mataji. Yes, that's true.
Yeah, you can't run away from God. They said some very, very, very wealthy people during the coronavirus pandemic, they got via corona, and they had to go into the hospital because they were so bad, and they were pleading, please save my life, this, that, I'll give you all the money in the world, and they died. All their wealth couldn't save them. They thought that, I'm so powerful, I'm so wealthy, I'm so rich, I can hire the best doctors. When death comes, Krishna says, I'll come in the form of death. To the atheist, he says that, right? Nobody can fight that.
Yeah, exactly. And that is what Krishna has kept it in his hands. So why do we challenge it? I don't understand that. Instead, he has kept such a wonderful thing. He said in Gita, that Bhagavad Gita, that at the last breath, if you remember me, then you are going to come to me. Then why not prepare for that instead of doing all sorts of, unnecessary things?
So you have become very fortunate and you have become very wise. So now you go and make others fortunate and wise, Namrata.
Yes, I'm trying.
They don't know.
With your blessings. Thank you.
They don't read Bhagavad Gita, right, Mataji? That's why they are doing like that.
No, in fact, I had some guests recently, and I realized they are reading Bhagavad Gita, but they are reading concocted Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah, that's very sad.
Yeah.
Because Krishna fulfills the desires of everyone. So they have some half-baked ideas and they are very fond of their material attachments. At the same time, they are pious. So they will find the Bhagavad Gita which suits their particular style of functioning. So they will find all the proper things to support whatever their own sense gratification is. No, but my Gita says this is okay. My Gita says, and so they carry on with their program without really wanting the real thing. And Srila Prabhupada said, if you want to be cheated, you will get cheated. If you want a cheating guru, you'll get a cheating guru. So this is what is going on.
Yes, Mataji, that reminds me of one small incident. I'm sorry, I'm just taking one more minute from you. One of my friend, she's just around in where I stay. She wanted to wear tulsi mala. She was very fascinated about it. But then she didn't even wanted to leave onion garlic. She said, no, I don't want to leave onion garlic. But she was hesitant. I mean, when I say that, no, you cannot wear tulsi mala if you are eating onion and garlic. It's offensive. So then after some days, she wore that one round tulsi mala, and I said, "Oh wow, you left the onion garlic?" She said, "No, I'm eating." I got a guru who said that it's okay. There's no such restriction. So then I didn't told him anything further, because when you realize the people that she wanted to get cheated, that is what her mind is. You'll somewhere or the else find such persons who'll say what you want to listen.
Yeah. You'll find a guru who will pander to your material attachments.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for this verse is actually very interesting. It says a lot. It says a lot. I was supposed to give lecture on this, but this is a very wonderful verse. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Scarlett Mataji, I think she left the call. Okay, Raj Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Thank you for the class. What I would like to ask is, if now that we have this knowledge that our rulers all over the world, they're unqualified and they're cheating all of the people, what is the call for action? What is it that we need to do in the right now, or start doing right now?
What do you think?
Well, I'm not sure. That's why I asked, because there's things we can do over time. Of course, we have to save ourselves, and we have to still push this movement along and introduce as many people and help as many others along in Krishna consciousness and open their eyes to this. And of course, we know that we need to start moving towards the self-sufficiency and self-sufficient communities. But what else do we need to be doing?
We need to first become Krishna conscious ourselves and then help others become Krishna conscious, because this is what is going to change the direction this planet is going in. We need everyone to become more and more Krishna conscious. I remember once asking Guru Maharaj, what will really please you? What can we do to really please you? Because I really wanted to know, and I asked in all seriousness and with the great sincerity, I asked Guru Maharaj, please, what will please you? What is the one thing I can do to please you? And Maharaj, emphatically, loudly, without hesitation, Maharaj said, become Krishna conscious. Like this. He literally roared back at me. And I said, okay, this is it. I've got my instruction. I have to become Krishna conscious. So that's what I'm trying to do. And Bhakti Sita Maharaj also writes in his series of spiritual warrior books, he writes over there that the best thing we can do is to wage war. Wage war with the weapons of love and peace. This is spiritual warfare. He calls it spiritual warfare. And he says we have to change. We have to uplift the consciousness of this planet by becoming spiritual warriors and fighting the illusory energy. We are in war. And so the best thing we can do for ourselves, for others, for the whole planet is to become Krishna conscious. And help others become Krishna conscious. Is that all right?
Yes. But
and the best way to do that, right, Raj Prabhu? The best way to do that is what? Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The more Harinam Sankirtan we keep doing on this planet Earth, everywhere, everyone coming together and chanting the holy name, the more the Earth planet is going to get purified. The more the souls are going to get attracted to this movement and get purified and begin their path of bhakti. This is what is needed more than anything else. This is what we can do. So if you're at home, organize home programs where you bring people together and chant the holy name. If you go to a place where you can have some impact, gather people there together and get them to chant the holy name. If you are in a position to, make changes in some laws or something, get people together to pray together, to chant the holy names in their own language, in their own tradition. Something to uplift the consciousness of this planet. Is that all right?
That's wonderful. Thank you. I think we need to be continually reminded about this because you give us energy to do it.
Just
Thank
do
you.
it. Just do it. Don't even think twice. Just start and Krishna will help. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Go for it, spiritual warrior. You have nothing to lose except your chains and shackles to this material world, believe me.
Thank you. Thank you, Haribol.
Haribol.
Thank you. Thank you, dear devotees. Any more questions or comments? There is a comment by Bonnie Mataji. She is writing, Michael Jackson was murdered by an unscrupulous doctor who gave him surgery, anesthetic instead of sleeping pill at Jackson's request. This was very illegal. His excuse was that Jackson wanted it. This is an example of a doctor in position who is not Brahmin, but rather merchant. So there are many doctors like this.
Yeah, these people are bought, they kept in the... I don't know the details of, I did hear something about the doctor administering something that, and then it went wrong in his system and he had other drugs, so it reacted, etc., etc. So who knows, what went on once that drug entered his body and how he reacted, but these things do happen. Doctors have to abide by something known as the Code of Ethics by Hippocrates. When I became a doctor, I read the Hippocratic Oath, and there it said, first, do no harm. First, do no harm. I see. So, imagine, first, do no harm. As a doctor, you're trying to administer something or help people react. But the first thing is do no harm. That is the very first injunction. Then the second thing is, okay, try to help the people. But first, do no harm. How is this in keeping with that? Okay, he wanted it, so I prescribed something. How is this ethical? The patient will ask for anything. Give me more and more painkillers. Give me more and more opiates. Give me more and more antidepressants. But is the doctor supposed to cave into the patient's demands or treat the patient properly? This is all unethical.
Yes, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji, for giving me this piece of information, because I tried to find over the Google and it said that Michael Jackson was dead due to the cardiac arrest. And thank you. This was a minor detail which could, help me get the more information. Thank you very much.
Okay, any more questions or comments?
Thing is, when death comes, no one can stop it. If not this way, some other way he would have been caught by death. His time was up, he had to go, and that's what happened. So no one can escape death. When death comes, that's it.
I think I remember Guru Maharaj once telling about the doctors in this age, and there was I forgot the name of that doctor, but he was specially very much you know enraged over the present day doctors who are, many of the population is dying because of the cure rendered by the doctor. So not by the medicines actually, but the cure what they are giving. So that is one of the what do you say, deadliest weapon. I mean,
What
we are
can you
trusting.
do? It's a demoniac system where the pharmaceutical people are literally, paying the doctors to prescribe the medication. The doctors are getting pampered by all these pharmaceutical companies to keep prescribing unnecessary medication with so many side effects, with so many problems. And then there are so many antibiotic resistant bacteria. You get into a hospital, you get one of those antibiotic resistant bacteria and finished. No drug acts against it. So more people are dying because they've got into the hospital. More people are dying because they went to a doctor. So what is this system of medicine which is killing you instead of curing you? You see how demoniac everything has become? It's a very, very topsy-turvy world we are in. Very topsy-turvy world. And we are so fortunate that we have the shelter of Guru Maharaj's lotus feet. Just imagine without this shelter where we would be in this storm. We are in a very safe boat. Why? Because we have a bona fide spiritual master who is a pure devotee follower of Srila Prabhupada. How fortunate we are.
Sorry, Mataji. Yeah. Any more questions or comments?
So the human form of life is a very rare opportunity to permanently put an end to all miseries, all problems of this material world and make our way back home and get out of the cycle of repeated birth and death. This human form of life is a only loophole for escaping. And the one who takes full advantage, makes his life perfect, goes back home, success. No more coming back here. So let us go for the gold. Let us try, let us aim for the best for ourselves and for others. Why settle for anything less? When Srila Prabhupada has given his life, his blood, his sweat, his tears, his very life, so that you and I and everyone here can have eternal life, why should we squander this opportunity? And it is so simple. Just engage in the process of bhakti. Just chant Hare Krishna. Just serve in a small, humble way. Whatever we do, Krishna is very grateful for that. Just abstain from the 4 things which are anyway going to cause you a lot of health problems if you engage in them. So it's actually for our own benefit to avoid the 4 sinful activities. It's actually for our own health, for our own life. It's beneficial to us to do those things. So the 4 regulative principles protect us. The Hare Krishna Mahamantra purifies us. Our seva connects us with Krishna. And we get to go back home. What a deal. It cannot get any better than this, folks. Chant and be happy And in the end, go back to Krishna. Haribo!
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you,
Difficult?
sir.
We
Yeah.
have 24 hours in the day. Out of 24 hours, can we not give 2 hours to Krishna? Can we not chant 16 rounds? Just imagine if we had to chant 64 rounds. Srila Prabhupada made it 1/4 of what Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj wanted. Said just chant 16 rounds every day. Doesn't take long to chant, 1.5 to 2 hours. That's all. That's all we are asked to do. Chant 16 rounds every day. That is the most important instruction of Srila Prabhupada. Chant your rounds every day without fail on the beat, 16 rounds. That's all he's asking from us. Can we not do at least that much?
We can.
Yes, we can.
We can.
Yes, we can.
Let's do it.
One day at a time. Take it one day at a time. One day at a time, sweet Krishna. That's all I'm asking of you. Teach me today, show me the way to chant my rounds.
Mhm.
Raj Prabhu. I can't hear you.
Raj Prabhu, please.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, good. So the chanting of 16 rounds, I heard that what Srila Prabhupada really wanted us to do is chant 16 good quality rounds.
Exactly.
Because many people chant 16 rounds, but they may be rubbish rounds. They may be like engaged, their mind may be preoccupied somewhere else. And in order to chant 16 good quality rounds, we need to be thinking of Krishna, engaged in Krishna services in some shape or form, 24 hours a day.
Yes. The whole point of all this, Srila Prabhupada said, I've written so many books, I've given you this process, I've given you DT worship program, given you all these things, is to get you to chant 24 hours Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Your soul is chanting Hare Krishna 24/7. The soul never stops glorifying Krishna. That's the nature of the soul. And we want to go back home. How long are we going to keep on taking birth and suffering here? We want to go back home to Krishna. Coming home, never more to roam. Open wide thine arms of love. Krishna, I'm coming home. I now spend with bitter tears, but now I'm coming home. I've wasted many precious years. Now I'm coming home. Coming home, never more to go. Open wide thine arms of love, Lord, I'm coming home.
Haribol. We're right behind you, Sridevi Mataji.
Oh, I'm behind you. You're leading the way and we're all scrambling to follow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Mataji, you have really inspired Ruhan by singing, so he want to sing something. Is it okay?
Yes, absolutely. Ruhan, come on. We want to hear from you.
I'm saying that.
Hear of Krishna, all talk of his love and trickeries. Remember
Oh, we lost Ruhan.
Mataji,
Lost connection.
him and sing his song.
oh,
Namrata, we are losing you. Can he say it again? We lost most of it.
Okay. Come, sing again. Year of
Hear of Krishna all day long, talk of his love and trickeries. Remember him and sing his song. Pop goes your miseries.
Okay, that's wonderful.
He
Remember
shied away.
Krishna all day long. And then, remember Krishna all day long. The gopis love.
Hear of Krishna all day long, talk of his love and trickeries. Remember him and sing his song. Pop goes your miseries.
Harival! Jai Ruhan ki jai. We want enthusiastic devotees like Ruhan now.
We used to do this play when he was, I think younger, 1 or 2 years younger than this. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave a task to Haridas Thakur and Nityananda that go to every house, knock at every door and spread the message of holy name. So we used to do that. I used to be Nityananda and he used to be Haridas Thakur, and he used to sing this song.
Very nice, very nice. I'm impressed.
So that is
Srila
you were
Prabhupada said, the children of your children will be the real devotees. So we have very exciting times to look forward to because great devotees are taking birth in our movement. Srila Prabhupada said demigods are queuing to take birth in this movement. So very powerful souls are taking birth to spread this movement of Lord Chaitanya. And we can only expect more and more flourishing of the Hare Krishna movement.
Yeah.
Let's all go back home, back to Godhead. And take everyone with us. Lord Chaitanya's moon is rising, so it's not at all surprising that we are chanting in the street, telling everyone we meet, we're going home, we're going home. There's a golden moon overhead now. We must serve Chaitanya somehow. He's the golden avatar. Spread the names of Krishna far to every town, to every single town. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So Lord Chaitanya has come to wake us up and take us back home.
nice, Mataji.
Jeev jago, Gaura Chandra bole. Kota nidra jao, Maya pisha chira khole. Shivati's mom is here. My humble obeisances, Mataji. So nice to see you.
Yeah,
Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Bagunara.
Avunanu.
Thank you, Mataji. So, any more questions or comments? Okay, so, yeah. Tirthakirti Mataji? Hare Krishna. Yeah, if we don't have any questions or comments, we can end the call here. Thank you so much, Sridevi.
I have a
Mataji, for that
question.
reply. Yeah, please go ahead.
Where do we get this medicine that Sridevi Mataji is taking?
You have to ask her only.
Everyone can take this medicine. It's freely available. It's called the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Enechi Oshadi Maya Nasibaro Lagi Mahamantra. Enechi Oshadi Maya Nasibaro Lagi Hari Nama Mahamantra. लाओ तुम्हें मागी, जीव जागो, गोरा चंद्र बोले, उठा निद्रा जाओ, माया पिशाची रखोले.
Jai.
All of this is there in the song books, Raj Prabhu. It's all
Very
there.
good. Jai.
Bring it to life. You should do some YouTube videos, bite-sized YouTube videos to do us every day. Wake us up.
Yeah.
She is enthusiasm personified, Prabhuji.
You'll get tired of me. You'll say, oh my gosh, when will this Mataji shut up? I don't know how I'm getting away with it today. Maybe because after a long time you're seeing me, so you're allowing me to go on. Otherwise, very soon you'll be saying, okay, shut up now, enough.
No, you're encouraging us, inspiring us, motivating us.
Thank you, Raj Prabhu, for tolerating your weirdo god sister.
Okay, thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you, everyone. We'll stop here. We'll meet again tomorrow. We don't have Bhakti Sangha class tomorrow. Instead, we'll have on Friday. So tomorrow we'll have mostly some other speaker, or I don't know. I have to ask Mataji only again. So I'll let you know tomorrow. So, but Thursday we're going to meet at the same time and the same link. Thank you all so much. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindhubhyo patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Srimati Mataji. Thank you all, dear devotees, for your kindness, for your patience, for your tolerance of your god sister. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.